A friend and I came across the ruins of this plant while driving through the mountains of Potter County. We decided to stop and explore the abandoned structure. We had no idea what happened here 112 years ago. My friend and I traveled to the secluded mountain town of Austin, Pennsylvania to stay at another friend's cabin. Our primary goal was to do some night and astrophotography under one of the darkest sky areas on the East Coast. But we also traveled the area exploring the mountains and abandoned remnants of this area's history.
What's that? That's your head.
What?
On the way back to the cabin the first night, we happened to notice a tower in the woods silhouetting against a clear night sky. We decided to check the place out to look for some interesting night photography opportunities and discovered that there was a massive abandoned structure hidden within the overgrowth. After getting a few shots, we returned to the cabin and John set up his astro rig. He stayed up with the rig while I researched the abandoned factory we just explored. I was surprised to discover what had actually happened here in 1911. The next morning, John showed me the crazy image he captured in the sky above us. I told him what I learned about the abandoned factory, so we decided to return to see it in the daylight.
You don't want me in the gun.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, what was this?
In 1900, George C. Bayless moved to Austin, Pennsylvania from his hometown of Binghamton, New York. He then began building his paper mill on the Freeman Run. A year later, Bayless built a dam to attempt to maintain steady water flow to the plant. Water is critical to the manufacturing process since it needs to be added to the wood pulp to create the actual paper.
Some of those spots are making me nervous.
Exactly.
This original dam proved to be inadequate, and over the next 9 years of operation, the mill would shut down frequently due to lack of water supply. In 1909, Bayless began building another dam out of native stone. Bayless promised there will be no further danger of not being able to control the water, nor any embarrassment because of an insufficiency of the supply.
Oh, yeah.
On September 30th, 1911, 22 years after the Johnstown Flood 140 miles to the south, the Bayless Dam would fail, causing a wall of water to wipe out the town of Austin and take the lives of 78 citizens. But by 1912, Bayless was rebuilding and started to use one of the earlier dams further upstream. In May of 1912, the court ordered Bayless to stop using the old wooden dam.
I mean, if this was inside, there would have been a roof, right?
A month later, arrest warrants for manslaughter were served on Bayless employees.
Yeah, death.
By 1913, the manslaughter trials would be underway and would continue that year until the charges were dismissed in November of that year.
How deep that is.
Bayless mill operations continued here, but in 1916, George C. Bayless, the millionaire president of the company, was arrested again and placed in the Coudersport jail for another charge of manslaughter in relation to the flood. This case was also settled without charges. In 1918, a 15-year-old boy was crushed by train cars while working in this plant. And by 1919, a union would begin to form here, kicking off labor struggles between the workers and the ownership, including sabotage of machinery. In 1923, George C. Bayless dies in his home of Binghamton, New York, and his son Stanley Bayless takes over the company a month later.
It felt like my foot was going through something.
The plant produced another 10 years until 1933 when Bayless claimed bankruptcy. That same year, Veta Mines Corporation purchased the plant and reopened as Williamson Pulp and Paper Company. But by 1939, the plant ran into financial troubles again, and the courts ordered the sale of the property. The plant did continue to operate until September of 1940. Defense contractors then began to bid on the property, and the plant resumed operations under Veda Industries in August of 1941, 4 months prior to the United States entering the war with the attack on Pearl Harbor. In 1942, another flood seriously damaged the plant and forced it to close. The plant would not produce paper again. On April 1st, 1943, the company was dismantling the plant and hauling it away. On December 23rd, 1943, the plant was destroyed by fire.
It seems pretty damn sturdy. I'm gonna GoPro you from here. You can kind of waddle down to the basement too.
In January of 1953, scrap dealers H. Brock and Son of Countersport purchased the remains of the plant and began dismantling it in October of that year.
Oh, that scared the tar out of me. Is that on camera?
I don't know if it got it. It was just turning on. Is there another floor to this?
It's just flat. I'm not walking across.
Yeah.
That's pretty chewed up. It looks cool. Woo! Just as I'm talking about it crumbling.
Yeah.
Dude, this looks amazing.
I know.